So the first set of racing is all filmed at the London Lee Valley Velo Park. This is a London Youth Track League here at the Olympic Park, and they have riders all the way from Southampton, Brighton, and all the way as north as Northampton and Eastern regions. So that is me, I'm number 16 in the blue. So it's a very big range of riders, very competitive league. This first race is a scratch race, it's 20 laps long, it's a warm-up race. Now, as we zoom in, you'll be able to see me as the blue rider, and here, as you can see, we're all in a line. There is no reason where we go. We often pick which sort of bit of the line we want to go in. I often prefer the back because you get to start off and roll off first, but there is no, doesn't matter how good you are or how not good you are, you can go where you want. So the scratch race is essentially from the gun, off you go. It's like a running race really, there's nothing exciting about it, you just start and finish. 20 laps long, but it depends on the warm-up, so you can stay in for however long you want to, you can drop out, you can stay in, you can treat it like a race, etc. So that is me in the blue there, with the sort of blue-grey shorts, and number 16. Join the race about halfway through here, and I'm just moving my way up the bunch peloton, just around the outside. It's the quickest way to go round and down because you get more speed by being higher up, even though you go further the distance. And I just move my way around, getting myself into top 6, 7. And then I fill in the gap there. There's a gap sort of growing, so I attempt to close it up, overtaking the rider in front of me here, catching up the bunch in front, trying to maintain a position. Right now I'm in 7th position and coming up to the line and finished. And there we go, so that's the next race is the 1 kilometre dash race, 4 laps long, essentially 4-lap race from the gun. And yet again we will start in a bunch, sort of in a group line. Made the same decision again to start near the back just because of preferences. And essentially this race is like a scratch race but much shorter and very quick. The riders here are all from around the area. We've got a lot of central riders from London, riders from the southeast, and then riders from the north of the eastern region. So we do get people travelling. It's a very competitive league. Now I'm just coming up onto the track here. The final section of the race here, coming into the finishing line. I'm near the back here in this race just because of it being quite a competitive and speedy race. I'm much more of an endurance rider, and I ride up and finished there, but it's not really my favourite event. So there are the results for that race. Now this is a sprint training session in London, same track. The flying 200 is you do about 3 laps at the top of the track to gain speed, and then you would come down onto the what's essentially the 200 meter line, and you do your 200 meter effort. They use this in the Olympics to qualify for your sprint events, just to give you your ranking. And as you can see up here, I'm riding around the top to gain speed. I do about 3 laps at the top, and you gradually increase your speed. At this point, this is the last time I'll be up the banking, and coming into the home straight, you start to move your way down the track, and then at the finishing line you come all the way down, 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 and then start your effort on that white line just there. This is an effort here, coming past, round the banking, and then back down the home straight, and you finish on the finishing line. So that is 200 metres, as you don't start on the finishing line, because that would have been 250 metres. And there are my results for the first attempt. Second attempt. And just now I hit the 200 meter line, and then round the bend. This is a much faster effort, and then coming into the home straight, still with maintaining my speed up to the finishing line. Often you just do a little push to the finishing line using your elbows and your body weight. And in the results, as you can see, I was only 0.4 seconds quicker, but in the grand scheme of things in track racing, that's a lot. Now we move on to Derby Velodrome, and this is the Derby Track League, which I've been entered into the senior and junior racing. That's the velodrome, and most of the cyclists here are from, there are cyclists from Carlisle all the way down to Derby, all the way down to Hertfordshire with Ashwell for me. So it's a big range of riders, and this is a 20 lap scratch race. As mentioned, it was a big selection of riders, and there's 4 groups at this track league: A, B, C, D. I was in the B category, so the A's are extremely good. There are a few pros in the A's, and B's is very good experience of track racing still. So you've got a lot of good athletes here with a lot of track experience. So this was an ideal group for me. Have to remember that some of the riders in this group are in their 25s, 26s, and do a lot more cycling in their free time, but so they've got big fitness. And this race is essentially 20 lap scratch, like the first one in London from the gun. I found this race very difficult, and this was actually my first race on the track in Derby. I did a warm-up, and I was probably about a minute after my warm-up on the track. The racing started. Didn't time it very well, but we were late. So maybe a bit tired very early on, but as you can see, I'm sort of situated around halfway through the group, and there I am, and then essentially just riding around. This is the points race, 30 laps. It's a different type of points race. Normally points races have sprints every 10 laps, and that's for points 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1 for 5th, 4th, 3rd and 2nd and 1st place. That makes sense. So, for example, the 5th rider would get 1 point, but the 1st rider would get 5 points every 10 laps. But this race is slightly different. So the first 5 laps were neutralised, which means sort of free racing. You just sort of go around, anything can happen, sort of like a scratch race. And then from 25 laps on, the bell rings every lap, and every lap is a points race lap, but it's only the first rider over the line gets 1 point. Now, as you can see here, we're just riding around in those first neutralised 5 laps. This race is very difficult. I've never done it before, because normally I do the normal points race. They called this race the tempo race, which apparently was also new for this event league. So we all just ride around a big bunch, and then I managed to join into the group bunch there. At this point here, the groups start to fragment. There's a breakaway of 3 riders here ahead. This is when the speed really increased, and I'm just about halfway through the bunch there. I just decided to take a turn off the front because it was getting very quick. Most of this race averaged 30 mile an hour, plus 30 mile an hour, so it made it very difficult for me to keep up. Much harder racing compared to London, where the game was still strong, but I was in my own age category. And then I'm trying to form a group here just to maintain. So there's a bunch of about 5 or 6 off the front, and then sort of lots of us sort of around but trying to keep up. And then I tried to form a group on my own right there, and then forming a group slowly. Groups of 3 or 4 were forming here, just trying to get some advantage out of what was left. The last 5 laps are the most difficult because the lactic acid, etc. tiredness is all building up. I think the new environment of the new track made me slightly nervous early on, but it was a hard race. But I think definitely the selection of riders made it even harder. As you can see, 30.1 mile an hour average there, which shows very